Be prepared for something new. Everyone is different. So are you. Stay straight. No masquerades. Do things that you'll remember. You can't push too far, but stay fair. Stay on track. Give it your all. Get to the bottom of things. Decide what's right. Don't believe in what the others do. Find it out for yourself. Be close to it all. Bring your heart along. Follow your goals. Reach for the stars. Turn the weekend into the loudest party of your life. Are you prepared?
Hello everyone and welcome to the Grande Finale of the DTM 2017. It is phenomenal here at the Hockenheim ring. We've got perfect sunshine, full house and fantastic atmosphere. And today we're going to know who's going to be the DTM champ 2017. Fact is, it's going to be one of 4 Audis. It's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to the last race, and now with me is a DTM boss, Gerhard Berger. It's lovely to have you here. Now, your first year, and allow me to ask, with all this fantastic atmosphere and everything going so well, the season being so exciting, could you be any happier?
Yes, I'm very, very happy. I'm happy now to be here to give today the cup to the best of this year. And as you said, it's going to be one of the Audi guys, but we have no idea who. Can be 4 guys, so one of the 4. But the most happy is when I'm looking up to the grandstand and I see unbelievable how many DTM fans came this weekend. I think over the 2 days we are more than 150,000 people, full house. Great program, nice concert yesterday with the Fantastic Four. Great sport, wheel-on-wheel fighting, and everything open until the last race. Who's gonna be the champion? So couldn't be better.
Exactly, I agree. And now, before we get racing here, let's have a look back at yesterday's race.
Well, the excitement over this weekend was always going to be great, and in the second from last race of the year, here was Timo Glock then, who went through turn number 1 ahead, but a great start from Jamie Green as well. As the cars all made their way around the track, it wouldn't be long before Jamie Green would make his presence felt, and in so doing, Timo Glock flying across the runoff area and the rumble strips. Once again, Jamie Green and Timo Glock together, and this time Jamie Green would be ahead, which pleased Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, who was looking on. Eduardo Mortara was also looking very racy, as was René Rast. Mattias Ekström and Mauro Engel then, and you can see the Audi ahead of the Mercedes-Benz of Mauro Engel. René Rast in a 9-second pit stop was not the quickest we'd seen over the course of the season. But Timo Glock involved in that battle with Eduardo Mortara, which saw the BMW get ahead of the Mercedes-Benz car. Jamie Green then, team went to work on his car, and Eduardo Mortara battling with the BMW of Maxime Martin, with Martin putting himself ahead. Mike Rockenfeller was absolutely on a flyer. The pace the Audi and the driver had was remarkable. Side by side with René Rast, and side by side with Eduardo Mortara as well. So the race action came thick and fast throughout the DTM race, and this was Mattias Ekström and Bruno Spengler having a battle, which the BMW driver at that point was winning. Despite the bouncing front end of Mike Rockenfeller, he continued to make his way up the order, and the last person to get past was going to be Timo Glock. But for the British driver, Jamie Green, it was going to be P1 in race 1 as the checkered flag unfurled. And Jamie Green was the race winner. And Verena caught up with Jamie Green.
And I've got Jamie Green with me. Hello, Jamie. Now, in the race yesterday, you won, which is absolutely brilliant. But because of the penalty, unfortunately, you were pushed back. So today you'll be starting in P15. And all of your rivals are actually in front of you. So now, yesterday, we saw that you definitely have the fastest car in the field. So I guess a dream of the title is still there and alive.
Yeah, it is a dream. I think it's quite complicated with 4 people mathematically still able to win. So it's very much dependent on what other people do as well as what I do. So it's quite complicated, quite hard to judge, you know, what will be enough to actually achieve it. So I'll just try and do the best race I can. And obviously I've got to overtake a lot of people. And we'll see what happens. I think it could be a very interesting race.
I'm sure it will be. Best of luck, Jamie. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena, as we get to the starting grid then for race number 2, the title decider. Tom Blomqvist and René Rast going on the first row of the grid, P1 and P2. Then we find Marco Wittmann and Lucas Auer on the second row of the grid. It's P3 and P4. P5 and P6 go the way of Robert Wickens and Maxime Martin. It's Mike Rockenfeller and Augusto Farfus on the fourth row of the grid, the Audi and BMW side by side, ahead of Gary Paffett and Timo Glock, P9 and P10, rounding out the first 5 rows of the grid for the last race of 2017, where Nico Muller and Bruno Spengler go from P11 and P12. Then it's Eduardo Mortara and Mattias Ekström, P14. And then it's Jamie Green and Mauro Engel, then P15 and P16 with Loic Duval and Paul de Resta. Here's Verena once again.
And now I'm here with Mike Rockenfeller. Rocky, yesterday was a fantastic race for you because you were coming from P7 to P2. Today you're starting qualifying, you got again P7, but today, in order to have a chance of snatching the title, you need to win today. So are you ready to spread your wings and fly across the racetrack?
I will try, but it's not easy, you know. We need to have a similar pace to yesterday or even better. There's only one chance for me, it's to win the race. I will give it all and see where we end up.
And how cool are you in there?
I'm relaxed, you know. I'm not in the best situation for the championship, so for me it's more to win than to lose, and that's how I go into the race.
All right, well, best of luck, Rocky. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Verena. Then talking to Mike Rockenfeller down there on the grid, one of those in with a chance. Augusto Farfus then, he is going from P8 on the grid. Not been anything other than a turbulent season for Augusto Farfus during this season. And everything is on this last race. From a drama point of view, alongside me, top racing driver Alex Torrell, it couldn't have played out better in front of these hundreds of thousands of spectators.
No, it's incredible to have such a packed grandstands, as Gerard Berger was saying before, more than 150,000 people between yesterday and today. So those are unbelievable numbers, and really, really good to see so many people here today.
We will hear more from Alex during the course of the race, of course, going from P7, Mike Rockenfeller then. As he said, he's playing it cool. He knows what he's got to do to try and take that championship. And actually, Mike Rockenfeller, you can see they're utterly focused inside the car ahead of the start of the race. Mike Rockenfeller going from P7 on the grid. Just recall from yesterday, he had incredible pace. Mattias Ekström also, of course. And there is Maxime Martin, the BMW driver, who's going from P6 on the grid. The Belgian driver, Maxime Martin, as I say, going from P6 on the grid. He's had merely one win this year. Of course, it was in race 2 at the Norris Ring, which was a real BMW fest at the Norris Ring. It was a P2 for him on race 1 at the Norris Ring. Robert Wickens then, going from P5 on the grid. He's not the best Mercedes-Benz driver. That goes the way of Lucas Auer, who is ahead of him by 1 place on the grid. So Robert Wickens, the Canadian racer then, who at one point, of course, we thought was perhaps a shoe-in for the championship right at the beginning of the season, but it didn't happen in the end. So Robert Wickens going from P5 on the grid for race 2 this weekend. the aerial shot of this fantastic Hockenheim ring circuit with Tom Blomqvist's pole position. René Rast in a very good position to potentially take the championship, going from P2 on the grid. Of course, the qualifying session earlier today was interrupted by that drain cover coming off, which really added into the dramatic effect of the DTM final round here at Hockenheim. There, what a sight it is, as Jamie Green then gets into his car right now. Of course, he's taken a big grid drop, and that as a result of the totting up procedure for warnings, and Jamie Green going from P15 on the grid. This is Lucas Auer then, the Mercedes-Benz driver, who's going from P4 on the grid and is the best of the Mercedes-Benz drivers. Lucas Auer, another one of those drivers, Alex, that at the beginning of the year we thought very good chances for him.
Yeah, he was looking really fast, really sharp at the beginning of the season, and then somehow through the middle it's been losing a little bit of performance, struggling, maybe due to this weight of performance. There's many things playing in the hands of Mercedes, so it would unfortunately, because would have beat him. So we have the chance to talk to Ekström a couple of seconds ago, so please, Verena.
I'm now here with Mattias Ekström. Eki, you've got 3 teammates ready to attack, because obviously it's all about the championship, and your super lead shrunk a little. So in other words, your main rival is probably René Rast. How are you going to handle the situation? It's all about the title.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do much more than to do normal and try to be as fast as possible in the race and get as many possible points as I can, and then see what they do. So, I mean, I can't control the race, so can control mine, and I will do my very best. And then when the last lap is done and Chequered flag it out, everybody will count and we'll have a winner.
You seem very calm, but obviously you're hungry for the title, right?
Yeah, but you know, I've learned a lot over the years. It doesn't really matter how hungry you are. It's more, you have to be consistent, and the season is long, and everybody have their bunch of good or bad luck. But in the end, it's a beautiful day to have a final, blue sky, a lot of fans, so it's a really great and probably one of the greatest DTM finals.
Well, enjoy, and best of luck, Eki. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. Well, he's very philosophical, isn't he, with regards to his chances in the Drivers' Championship. As you can see, really close. 172 points for Mattias Ekström. Do bear in mind, though, he's going from P14 on the grid. Jamie Green on 163 points. Bear in mind, he's going from P15 on the grid. René Rast, though, is going from P2 on the grid. And a couple of seconds ago, Verena caught up with René.
I'm now here with René Rast. René, yesterday we talked, and you seemed really cool. Now today in qualifying, you put your car in P2, so I guess you're still pretty cool considering the fact that you're this close to the title. So honestly, are you still as cool?
Yeah, I'm still as cool, but it's still a long way to go, even though it's just one race left. Obviously, the starting position is great, second place, and Mattias and Jamie and Mike quite far behind, but you never know, you know. A race is long and anything can happen, so need to see and have a good start and have a good race.
And between you and me, how big is the pressure?
Well, there's no pressure, actually. I mean, obviously, I want to win the title, obviously, no question. But it's still my first year. Nobody is, you know, asking me to win the championship in the first year. It would be just a nice bonus on a very good year we've had already.
Well, you're going to get him tired. Best of luck. Thank you very much, René. And back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. Is he underplaying that, do you think, Alex? Because at the end of the day, to take the championship as a rookie, he's going from P2. His nearest challengers in the championship are a long way back of him.
Yeah, for sure. I think he might, like you were saying, playing a little bit, say, I'm not under pressure and it's my first season, but if he could make this achievement, it would be a great step in his career. So I think he's looking really towards this title, and I think it's the good thing. He has nothing, a bit like we saw before, Mike Rockenfeller was saying, it's nothing to lose when we see now a graphic of where the cars are situated or placed on the grid.
Absolutely.
So, as he was saying, I think he has nothing really to lose, because, like I said, if he's not challenging, he's not winning the championship, no one will say, okay, you didn't win the championship in your first year. But of course, he's really looking forward for it.
It is definitely advantage René Rast, and that is the trophy he will be itching to collect. It's the all-new DTM trophy for 2017. As the engine note rises and the cars are released on their formation lap. 55 minutes plus 1 lap. It is the final race to come in DTM season 2017 as the cars roar by the trophy that each and every driver at the beginning of the season at this very track, Hockenheim, had set in their target sights. It's only 4 now that can potentially take it. What we do know about DTM, though, is nothing is ever guaranteed. There are so many curved balls that could be thrown into this race. We've got the pit stops to come, haven't we? We've got drivers coming out on tyres which have not been pre-warmed. We have got so much that could happen.
Yeah, it's many things. I mean, this regulation with a new cold tire, so a mistake coming out of the pit on cold tire can cost you a race. We have the safety car, can happen a safety car phase while you are pitting. So it's many variabilities, many points that can change the race from 0 to hero, let's say. So it's totally unexpected. It is what making the season so interesting and so exciting.
Let me remind you, Zandvoort, one of the most experienced drivers we have on the grid is Mattias Ekström. Comes out of the pit lane on cold tyres, through the gravel, onto the grass. It doesn't matter how good a driver you are, things can happen, can't they? Look at the tension inside the Audi garage as we look at Mike Rockenfeller now. Mike Rockenfeller then going from P7 on the grid. Certainly in a better position than Mattias Ekström or Jamie Green. And there is Uli Fritz and the team from Mercedes-Benz looking at Lucas Auer, the best of the Mercedes-Benz drivers, who is going from P4 on the grid. Look at the focus and the concentration on his face. Pascal Wehrlein is here this weekend and Verena is with him now.
We're very excited, Pascal, that you're here this weekend for the final of the DTM. Good to see you. Now, you know what it's like, just in the last race. How do the drivers feel? How tense are they, knowing it's all about the title? It's between 4 guys, everything is open.
Especially now, just before the start. I mean, it's so exciting and everyone is so really pushed inside. And but when the race starts, you're just focusing on the best possible job you can do and trying to do no mistakes.
Thank you, and enjoy watching the last race, and let's get racing.
Oh yes, thank you very much. Then Pascal Wehrlein, former DTM champion, of course. Mattias Ekström lines up in his grid box. There is Dieter Gas and the Audi crew. We get the green flag from the marshal at the rear. We are about to start the last DTM race of the season. We have 3 lights, 5 lights now. Let's go racing. So Tom Blomqvist then, and look at Lucas Auer alongside René Rast. René Rast runs out wide through turn number 1. Jamie Green trying to make up places right at the start of this race. 3 abreast going into turn number 2. Who will come out of that best? Well, as you can see, it's Marco Wittmann ahead of Lucas Auer. Then it is René Rast. Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström side by side. Maro Engel runs out onto the grass. And there is Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström absolutely side by side with Eduardo Mortara ahead of the Mattias Ekström car. So as they head into the hairpin for the first time of asking, Tom Blomqvist has made haste his escape and has gone up the road now, whilst everything else is being fought out behind him. So it is 2 BMWs and a Mercedes-Benz, and it could be that Robert Wickens is coming through as well. So Jamie Green now right, almost at the back, damage potentially to the Jamie Green car. He's fighting there with Maro Engel, and surely there's something wrong with that Jamie Green car now, because it looks like he's losing pace, Alex.
Yeah, it was not at the best his start. He was losing a little bit. He was probably not placing the car in the race place. He lost a lot in the hairpin down the straight. So not the best start of all the Audi contenders for the championship. Also René Rast losing a lot in the not launching the car really well on the start. And the only Audi who did was pretty much a good start was Mike Rockenfeller, improving from P8 on the grid.
So Mike Rockenfeller, the one to watch at the moment, DRS enabled now as they cross the line. 1 lap is in the book. It's Tom Blomqvist, Marco Wittmann, Lucas Auer, Robert Wickens, René Rast and Mike Rockenfeller. P5 and P6, those 2 Audi drivers. Jamie Green then is plumb last, P18. So into turn number 3 for the second time of asking in this 55-minute plus 1 lap race. And there you can see the Mike Rockenfeller car just behind René Rast. Behind Mike Rockenfeller is Maxime Martin. The BMWs escaping up the road. Blomqvist and Marco Wittmann. The cars bouncing up the straight as they head in towards the hairpin. Here comes Lucas Auer then on Marco Wittmann. So Lucas Auer then, the best of the Mercedes-Benz drivers, really pushing Marco Wittmann very, very hard now. Here comes Timo Glock on Nico Müller and Gary Paffett. There's three abreast there, and whoa. Nico Müller very nearly caught in that sandwich between Timo Glock and Gary Paffett, who remain side by side. And Maro Engel getting past Loic Duval, another one of the Audi drivers right at the back of the pack. Sure enough, Maro Engel, the Mercedes-Benz driver, has got past Loic Duval, and here comes Jamie Green getting past Loic Duval as well now. Whatever potential issue maybe Jamie Green had with the car, perhaps he's being able to drive through it, although he certainly doesn't look as quick as he should do. So,
yeah, for sure. Really slow pace from Jamie Green. I mean, race winner yesterday and now struggling to keep at the back of the pack. But this is DTM. The picture you have on the race on Saturday has nothing to do what you can have on the race on Sunday.
You're absolutely right. Blomqvist, Wittmann, Auer, Wickens, Rast, and then Rockenfeller. The gap between René Rast and Mike Rockenfeller is just 6 tenths. So the early stages of this DTM race. Let's get a replay of the start here.
I was looking at the car of René Rast. He was not so good launching to the start. He was a little bit...
And that's really where he got
stuck a little bit in his grid box, losing a lot of position here, taking the outside line, still a little bit ahead of Lucas Auer and Marco Wittmann, but now losing here another 2 positions on the brake zone for corner number 2, and here we see a little bit the contact of Maro Engel with Mattias Ekström.
And there was also contact between Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green, wasn't there? As Jamie Green put that car inside. So
we see the wheel spin. You hear that wheel spin of René Rast that cost him 2 positions on the start. There we see a little bit the contact with Lucas Auer. Some data logger. oh, this is different. Pulling out the data logger from the... There we see the body parts of Mattias Ekström with Jamie Green.
Yes, there was contact there between the two of them, wasn't there? Oh, Jamie Green did well to control that, to be honest. So the back end of the car getting very loose following the contact, but Jamie Green held on to it. Now, whether at that point that damaged the car or not, but he seems to be able to drive through it now, is a P17 though. Tom Blomqvist, in the meantime, 1.5 seconds to the good over Marco Wittmann. Then it's Lucas Auer before Robert Wickens and René Rast ahead of Mike Rockenfeller. So Tom Blomqvist then, who's got nothing to trouble him really, because he's got a clear track ahead of him. He can just focus completely on his race and not worry about what's going on. Championship prediction then. If it were to stay this way, which I can almost guarantee you it will not, then this is the championship prediction. Mattias Ekström would win by 1 point. 172 to 171. If it stays as it is now. As I say, I can almost guarantee that that will not be the case.
No, for sure. As soon as René Rast will improve 1 position, can match Mattias Ekström in points. So,
but at the moment, it doesn't look like Rast has got the performance to to improve at 1 position. After saying that, you just point out to me, and how wrong can I be? He just does a purple first sector.
So like you said, I think the race is still long. We have 49 minutes to go, still pit stop. No one went into the pit at the moment, so plenty of things can happen. Safety car, yellow flag, a drain.
Yeah, we had that in qualifying, didn't we? So we're on board with Mattias Ekström now, who of course is chasing down the Paul di Resta car. Now the drain incident really affected Paul di Resta's qualifying, because the drain cover was actually lifted by Gary Paffett. It was Paul di Resta that ran over it. It caused damage to the Paul di Resta car.
Talking about Paul di Resta, he's coming into the box right now to make the pit stop. Yes, it's Paul di Resta.
He had to, Paul di Resta actually had to abandon that quali session. So Mattias Ekström has got, what has he got ahead of him? He's got a BMW and a Mercedes-Benz, and therefore René Rast has also got work to do to try and overtake those cars ahead of him to put himself ahead in the championship. Paul di Resta in then 7.5 seconds from the HWA team in terms of that pit stop. And side by side,
I think it's René Rast with Robert Wickens. René Rast running on the outside, will have the acceleration, maybe can hold the position on the outside. He's coming closer and closer. DRS open most probably. Oh, he gets the inside line for the Mercedes arena.
So that's one down, isn't it?
That's one down, so that means he's now matching in points Mattias Ekström.
This is going to be on a knife edge all the way to the checkered flag. So René Rast improves himself one position and it goes up to P4 now. Ahead of him, he's got the Mercedes-Benz of Lucas Auer. So Lucas Auer ahead of him, and of course Marco Wittmann and Tom Blomqvist as well. So advantage René Rast currently. Alongside me, Alex, doing the calculations and the computations, but we've still got 47 minutes plus one lap of this race to do. So an awful lot can play out between now and the checkered flag. There's no question about that. DRS lap availability you can see on the graphics, and there you can see on the left-hand side of the screen the order as it is at the moment. Let's go on board with René Rast then, as he's now currently in that P4 position. Alongside me, Alex, then you've been working out on the figures here. Here is the championship prediction.
He will be ahead,
now.
one ahead. That was what I was making, because it's a difference of 2 points. There is not 1 point, it's a difference of 2 points. So he will be by 1 point ahead of Mattias Ekström. So at this situation, Mattias needs to get in the top 10.
And Mattias Ekström has got Edo Mortara ahead of him and Bruno Spengler. But what he also has, bear this in mind, is Nico Müller, P11. We have seen in races this year where Nico Müller has been of great benefit to some drivers.
But I will launch a question in the air. Do you think Audi, knowing this, is in any case the Audi driver will win the championship? Do you think they will play to help or make a favor to any drivers or other?
Can't answer that, can I? I do not know. I don't think so, because at the end of the day...
It doesn't matter if it's Jamie Green wins, or Rockefeller, or René Rast, wherever. Will an Audi win? An Audi driver will win. And yesterday, as Verena was talking to Dieter Gas, he says he will let his drivers fly and have freedom. So that means maybe there is no help from any Audi driver to an Audi driver. They have to make them on their own.
It's gloves off. Let's see. Mattias Ekström then, as Hans-Jürgen Abt looks on then, of course, it's as much tension-filled for the teams as it is for the drivers who are out there. We're on board with René Rast now as he hunts down that Lucas Auer Mercedes-Benz, the Austrian driver there, and René Rast now is within 6/10 of Lucas Auer, and René Rast sets the fastest lap, a 1:33.083, set on lap 6. René Rast is on a charge here. Now, the more points, or the more places rather, that René Rast can make up, of course it's really playing into his advantage in terms of giving him a cushion.
For sure, he's looking really good on the pace. He was coming closer and closer to Lucas Auer, so I think in a few laps he will be on the back of the Mercedes. And like you said, every position he is gaining is a cushion of point. He's banking towards Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green, which are still stuck on P14 and P16.
Yes, you're right. Mike Rockenfeller is P6 at the moment. He has ahead of him Robert Wickens. There you can see. And then ahead of Robert Wickens, of course, is René Rast. So we keep, and we will keep you abreast of the championship prediction and the way the points are playing out. Bear in mind, every single one of these drivers has got to take a pit stop. The first one to do that was Paul di Resta. He was in on lap 4, and Paul di Resta has got his pit stop done and dusted. Now, what's going to be absolutely critical is, more than ever before, as in comes Nico Müller and also in comes Maro Engel. What's going to be absolutely critical here is a good job from the team. So the Abt team go to work on the Nico Müller car. Only 2 engineers allowed to work per each side of the car. The revs rise, it's 7.2 seconds. Cold tyres, look at the wheel spin as Nico Müller leaves his grid box. Now, the effect of having cold tyres, when you rejoin on the track, it's fair to say, Alex, the grip is so reduced, it takes a lot to control the car, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's taking a little bit. It's taking a lot of time to warm up those tires we saw before. So this can play a big role after in the race when we see our top 4 championship contenders pitting into the box. And you see now also Mattias Ekström is struggling to get past Eduardo Mortara because Eduardo is as well in DRS zone. So because Bruno Spengler is ahead of Mortara, so this is not playing anyway, in any case, in the hands of Mattias Ekström.
No, he's really struggling, isn't he? Because, as you say, the car's ahead of him in the DRS availability window as well. Here comes Mattias Ekström, just showing his face to the inside of Eduardo Mortara, but nothing like close enough to be able to make a move on the Edo Mortara car. Now, this was René Rast with a logger that was really in his way, and he had to deal with that whilst driving the car as well. Extraordinary dexterity there from René Rast, who of course is P4 and chasing down that Lucas Auer car. So René Rast last time around was a 1:33.776, Lucas Auer a 1:33.842. So René Rast is marginally quicker. Team radio from Mike Rockenfeller, which I'm sorry to say, I really didn't understand.
Me neither.
So Mike Rockenfeller we're on board with right now. Now, of course, Mike Rockenfeller really has no help ahead of him because he's got Robert Wickens. Ahead of Robert Wickens, of course, is René Rast. Well, René Rast surely is not going to be helping to Mike Rockenfeller, is he?
No, for sure not. We see now Rockenfeller into DRS zone. He will try the overtake maneuver. Oh, when we see René Rast getting past Lucas Auer. So he's now in the third step of the podium. And I think we see Rockenfeller also trying into Robert Wickens, so side by side again.
Well, this is heightening the tension, isn't it? Because Mike Rockenfeller has moved up a place, and so too has René Rast. So Mike Rockenfeller then is ahead of Robert Wickens, and René Rast is ahead of Lucas Auer. So the two Audis getting past the two Mercedes-Benz simultaneously then. Whilst all this is going on, may I just mention Tom Blomqvist is 1.3 seconds to the good, and another very, very fast sector from René Rast, Alex.
Yeah, if I would be Tom Blomqvist, I would not so relax seeing the pace that René Rast has, and also Mike Rockenfeller. It's a bit of a replay of what we saw yesterday at the end of the race with Mike Rockenfeller with the blistering pace. So René Rast making now purple sector 2. Let's see now, he's coming now into the main straight line. So 1:33.2, so even half a second faster than Tom Blomqvist per lap. If he keeps this pace in 2 laps, we'll be on the back of the BMW.
The official figures from DTM, 152,000 people have witnessed this DTM weekend. Maxime Martin has been in the has come into the pit lane, and the rest of the cars out there fighting. And just look at the gap that René Rast has been able to put on Lucas Auer already, proving the pace that René Rast has. Maxime Martin then returns from his pit stop and has new tyres on, tyres which will not have been warmed up, which will make him vulnerable to Nico Müller, who of course has had a lap on the tyres now, so they are warmed up nicely. Again, the crystal clear clarity of the team radio from Mike Rockenfeller.
I think he was saying something with understeer, but I'm not 100% sure.
Bruno Spengler and Eduardo Mortara go side by side, and Eduardo Mortara moves ahead of Bruno Spengler, and that is for P10 in the race. And just behind those two, of course, is Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green. Here comes Mattias Ekström just showing his nose to the car of Bruno Spengler. So there is the Edo Mortara car. There's Bruno Spengler, who's really under pressure now from double effort from the Audis behind. Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green. May I remind you that they're running P13 and P14. Tom Blomqvist then leading the race. We're on board with Jamie Green now.
And we see Tom Blomqvist in the front losing quite a lot of pace, so it's lost another 4 tenths. So Marco Wittmann is now 0.8 tenths behind BMW M driver.
In comes Augusto Farfus. Also coming in is Loic Duval. A 7.3 second stop then for the Augusto Farfus car from the RMG team. Loic Duval, as the Phoenix team go to work on his car, and you can see Marco Wittmann really getting closer to Tom Blomqvist now. Alex mentioned the fact that his pace was seemingly dropping from Tom Blomqvist as Timo Glock and Gary Paffett go side by side. It's the battle for P7 at the moment, as Glock has got the inside now, but it looks like Paffett has really got the pace advantage on the BMW. Now he needs to remain absolutely committed here and keep the inside line for the next turn. Out breaks Timo Glock, and Gary Paffett moves through. That was a great overtake from the Mercedes veteran.
Yeah, really good, keeping the car really close together, but not having any any single contact, all the way around the outside, holding Timo Glock's line and then down into the brakes.
Great respectful racing from both of them. And now we can see that Mattias Ekström has got past Bruno Spengler. Next in the target sights, it's Jamie Green, who's eyeing up the back end of the all-black BMW car of the former champion, Bruno Spengler. So Rennie Rast on the team radio. And here we can see this, how Mattias Ekström got past Bruno Spengler going into the hairpin. It's one of the favourite places, of course, for making an overtake move. Tom Blomqvist trying to protect his lead from Marco Wittmann. And as they run around the Parabolica, heading up towards that hairpin now. Not sure Marco Wittmann is close enough, although he might be now. As Tom Blomqvist will make that car as wide as possible. Now, as these two BMWs are fighting, Alex, alongside me, this is playing into the hands of Rennie Rast, who, of course, is getting ever closer to both of them.
For sure, it's the same situation we've seen many times now. So Tom Blomqvist and Marco Wittmann are fighting together and entertaining themselves, let's say, together, while this is allowing Rennie Rast to contact them. He's already into the DRS zone, so I'm really sure there will be some battle between the three drivers. It's always now the situation of Rennie Rast goes more for a championship position, which means he stays committed.
Yes.
Or he really wants to progress and also gets involved in this fight for the lead of the race.
Jamie Green then is ahead of Bruno Spengler. It probably took him a couple of laps longer than he would have liked to, but he is now ahead of Bruno Spengler and is running now in P10. As in comes Marco Wittmann. Also in comes Lucas Auer, that releases Mike Rockenfeller, because Lucas Auer was almost frustrating Mike Rockenfeller as he was trying to find a way past the number 22 Mercedes-Benz car. So Marco Wittmann's team go to work on that car, the RMG team.
Marco Wittmann trying to... Excuse me, Marco Wittmann tried to maybe undercut Tom Blomqvist on the pit stop.
Possibly.
That he maybe saw it. He tried 2 laps to pass his BMW teammate with the DRS. He was not able, so he said, okay, I go now into the box.
In the hope that,
hope, undercut his pit stop, and then get him pass on the pit lane.
Of course, this nominally means that Rennie Rast is up into P2. Of course, this is pre-pit stop. Rennie Rast has got to stop, so too has Tom Blomqvist. There is Maxime Martin on the Lucas Auer car. Lucas Auer, of course, having been into the pit lane. Tyres not up to temperature yet, is now chasing down the Maxime Martin BMW. They head into the hairpin now. This is where perhaps Lucas Auer might be vulnerable to a little lock-up, but no. Controls it, rotates the car nicely through the hairpin. Blomqvist leading from Rast, then Rockenfeller, Paffett, Glock, Mortara, Ekström, Green, Spengler. Those are the drivers that have not yet pitted. Of those that have pitted, it's Wittmann, Auer, Martin, Wickens, Farfus, Muller, De Resta, Engel, and Loic Duval. We're on board with Jamie Green now. And this was how Jamie Green got past Bruno Spengler a short while ago. Again, into the hairpin. And there, Jamie Green. An acknowledgement there of fair racing between the two of them.
Yep. So we see now Rennie Rast just behind Tom Blomqvist, so 0.8 seconds behind the BMW driver. So he's in DRS zone.
He is in the DRS zone. I wonder if Rennie Rast will be of the same opinion that if he can't dispose of Tom Blomqvist, even with the DRS advantage, which of course Blomqvist won't have, whether he will also try and undercut and come in.
Probably it depends how long it takes him to overtake Tom Blomqvist. We see he's now just on his back. Maybe he tries one more lap and then do the same strategy like Marco Wittmann. We will see in a few laps, in a few minutes time, what's the decision of Rennie Rast. For sure, as I was saying, looking at the situation now, he needs to play safe because he has now the championship on his hands.
Yes, he does. Now, bear in mind that Rennie Rast may well need those DRS laps come the end of the race. And he's running in P2 at the moment behind Tom Blomqvist. And actually, to Rennie Rast, the more places he can put on, the more points that he is going to garner. But Rast has got to stop yet, so I reckon he might just try one more lap. And if it's not able to work for him, even with the DRS availability, because he is within 1 second of Tom Blomqvist, that makes DRS available to René Rast. Of course, Tom Blomqvist got no one in front of him, so therefore he cannot even use the DRS to defend.
Yeah, we see René Rast using again the DRS into corner number 2, so this is really, really close now to Tom Blomqvist, going for this back straight parabolica, so he's opening now again the DRS. Let's see if the Audi can get past the BMW. BMW with a little bit of advantage ahead, looks really hard. Let's see now in the last meters, Audi bottoming up and down, now into the brakes on the outside. Let's see if they get the switch up.
He should still have DRS because it's 3 usages per lap, isn't it?
He's on it again, I think.
So Blomqvist really under pressure here, but René Rast desperately trying to get past that BMW, takes a wider line so that he can cut inside, but Tom Blomqvist makes the car as wide as possible to prevent René Rast from being able to do so. And in fairness, great defensive driving from Tom Blomqvist. He wants to finish the season on a high and take a race win. Of course he does. And you know, it makes no difference to him who's behind him. He's going to always defend that P1 position. René Rast, of course, chasing down in the championship, and he knows that by being P1 to P2, that will give him, rather than P2, that will give him a tremendous points advantage.
Oh, Blomqvist coming.
So now René Rast is effectively leading the race, but what Rast needs to do now, presumably, Alex, talk me through the strategy here. Now that Rast is out on his own, will they be saying to him, right, just bank as many quick laps as you can before we bring you in to build up an advantage to, you know, the situation when Tom Blomqvist and others get back up to race pace following their tyre changes?
Yeah, first we see a slow pit stop of Tom Blomqvist, so this is going to play in the hands of René Rast
yep.
in case they do a faster pit stop, first of all, and secondly, you are absolutely right. This is the moment for René Rast just to bank and do as much as fast lap as he can, so open that gap, especially because he's now running without traffic. And we see now Marco Wittmann got past Blomqvist on the box, and he's on warm tires, so Tom Blomqvist lost quite a bit of time.
So that was exactly what you said that they were going to try and do with Marco Wittmann, in that, you know, he was going to try and undercut Tom Blomqvist in the pit stops.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see also at this moment Robert Wicken and Maxime Martin, which are also really close to Tom Blomqvist. They already been into the box, because it will take a while for Tom Blomqvist to warm up those tires. When we see Lucas Auer fighting with Gustav Farfus. Gustav Farfus on a little bit wide, will try to get this switch back from Lucas, side by side again. One more time, Lucas Auer will hold the outside, no. He decides to stay in the back, so Augusto gets the position ahead of Lucas Auer, so this is a battle at the moment virtually for P13.
Yes, ahead of those two is the number 6 car of Robert Wickens, as you can see. And there, Tom Christensen looking on then at everything that's going on out there on track. And René Rast now trying to bank as many quick laps as he can in the Team Rosberg car that engineers that Audi, which is leading the race at the moment pre-pit stop, though. Please bear that in mind, that René Rast has got to come in for his pit stop, and around the parabolica now, heading up towards the hairpin. His last lap, he's one of the few drivers at the front end of the pack in the 33s, which is really advantageous. But now look at the pace of Marco Wittmann. Now his tyres are up to temperature. He's quicker than René Rast, so René Rast really needs to think about coming in probably quite soon, because the pace advantage is going to Marco Wittmann, who was last lap around 4/10 quicker.
Yeah, as you said, this is the opportunity for René Rast to make as much fast lap as possible. But as you are saying, if he comes out of behind Marco Wittmann, he will not have the advantage of making this undercut. So it looks like Marco Wittmann's strategy is working as it's best now. We'll see when René Rast pits and come out of the pit how good has been that decision of pitting early. When we see now Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström fighting with Timo Glock at the moment.
And we have, as Timo Glock dives into the pit lane, we have 28 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. And now Gusto Farfus in P13, he's already out of DRS lap usage. Farfus has used all his DRSs. So, and this is one of the reasons for the changes to DRS this year is to, you know, the drivers have to really think strategically about when to use them, because for the remainder of the race, he has none available to him. The splitter cam on the Timo Glock car then, as the team go to work on the number 16 car, RMG, get Timo Glock out again. On board with Jamie Green, Parabolica then makes some adjustment to the brake bias, as you can see, with his right hand. Tracking Mattias Ekström, it's P5 and P6 at the moment, but again, it's pre-pit stops. And Jamie Green a lot closer to Mattias Ekström now. And Ekström has ahead of him Eduardo Mortara, the Mercedes-Benz driver, who's running in P4. The race nominally being led by René Rast at the moment over Mike Rockefeller, Gary Paffett, Edo Mortara, Mattias Ekström, Jamie Green and Bruno Spengler. Those are the drivers that have not stopped yet and have still got to.
Yeah, we have at the moment Marco Wittmann leading virtually the race. We still need to see what's happened when René Rast goes into the box and make his pit stop.
Well,
where is he coming out?
Marco Wittmann has just done a PB through Sector 1. His last lap look was a 1:33.088. Compare that to René Rast's a 1:33.790. So, inevitably, once those newer tyres are on and up to temperature, it's providing a better pace in the car, isn't it?
Yes, we are watching the tires are working as it's bad, but also he needs to stay longer on the track with those tires. So it can be that he had some trouble towards the end of the race to keep that pace.
Yes, because his tires will be fresher,
exactly.
Won't they? Yeah, the longer he leaves it, yes, that is another advantage that he will have.
So René Rast tires will be fresher towards the end of the race than the ones of Marco Wittmann.
Same will be said of course, Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green as well, because they have not yet pitted. Yeah. Neither of them able to really chase down Eduardo Mortara, as you can see. 26 minutes of the race plus 1 lap. Still to go. Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green then both vying in the championship points. At the moment, it is definitely advantage René Rast. And Mike Rockefeller, of course, is P2, Gary Paffett P3, then it's Mortara before we see this battle with Ekström and Green, which is not so much a battle, it seems a very respectful inter-brand competition between the two of them. But of course, they are non-pit stops yet. So Wittmann and Blomqvist both have pitted, and Marco Wittmann got ahead of Tom Blomqvist. Is Rast going to come in now? No, he doesn't. Stays out for as long as he can. And there is Marco Wittmann then, who, of course, with every single lap, is taking just a little bit more out of the fresher tyres that he has on. So he has the pace advantage at the moment, but the longer, as Alex has suggested, that René Rast can stay out, may play into his hands come the end of the race.
Yes, I think it's coming really close to this moment where the tyres are getting quite old and is struggling to follow the pace. At the moment, I think it's Marco Wittmann, it's around a little bit less than a second faster per lap than René Rast.
7/10.
And it's quite a big difference between both drivers. We see last lap time of René Rast was 1:33.7, and the lap time of Marco Wittmann was 1:33.0. So it's 7/10.
Yeah.
Faster the Red Bull car of Marco Wittmann.
We're on board with René Rast now. Is this going to be the lap that he chooses to come in? Is 7/10 the margin that he feels that he will benefit now from going on to that fresher rubber? So René Rast then, the team of Rosberg will be standing by to receive the car, that's for sure. And there you can see, look at the difference over the last 3 laps between René Rast and Marco Wittmann. So René Rast then pummeling the Audi around this.
It's a little bit less than a second per lap, as I said. So 8/10 down to 7/10. So let's see now if he stays on track.
He does.
Yes, he does. So he stays one more lap outside.
Surely this will be the last lap that René Rast stays out. Let's see. The gap between René Rast and Mike Rockefeller will give you the live gap. It's 5 seconds, so it's increased by 1/10, hasn't it? So Rast to Mike Rockefeller, and there is Mike Rockefeller, who's currently running in P2. It's Edo Mortara, then it's Ekström and Green. The margin between Ekström and Green is only 4/10 now. Bear that one in mind. Still got 23 minutes of the race, plus a lap. There is Mike Rockefeller. And there then is Rennie Rast. Parabolica now braking for the hairpin. Wonder whether they'll bring Mike Rockefeller in on the same lap as Rennie Rast. Mike Rockefeller then, the Phoenix team. There is Marco Wittmann. And Marco Wittmann, I think, is the fastest man out there, isn't he? 1:33.1s. And this is Mattias Ekström and Jamie Green. They are side by side. And Jamie Green goes through on Mattias Ekström. Of course, Jamie Green had the advantage, didn't he, in terms of DRS, and gets ahead of Mattias Ekström. So the British driver Jamie Green then, who of course was uber successful in race 1 yesterday, taking the win, now finds himself ahead of Mattias Ekström and will chase down the Mercedes-Benz of Eduardo Mortara.
So as we see, Rennie Rast completing one more lap.
So this is how he did it then, up towards the hairpin, just on the inside with the DRS assist. And Mattias Ekström tried to come back, and that's what you call the switchback, isn't it? Where he tries to get back underneath the car and get a better exit. But in the end, Jamie Green was able to go through. And actually, you can see that Jamie Green is markedly quicker, potentially, than Mattias Ekström. Well, Mike Rockefeller on the team radio.
I think he's giving up. He's giving the pressures of the tires to the team. Tire pressures to the team. So he's telling the team the pressure of the tires. As we see, Rennie Rast stays one more lap out. Now the lap time are quite similar to the ones of Marco Wittmann. So the fresh advantage, the advantage of fresh tires of Marco Wittmann is maybe
just tailing off
away.
a little bit.
Yeah. It's come a little bit away. Let's say one more lap.
Well, he's certainly leaving it. Well, he can leave it very much later than he is at the moment. So his pace at the moment, Rennie Rast then is truly very, very good. But of course, he's got absolutely no threat behind him and no threat in front of him either. So at the moment, Rennie Rast is able to control this from the front and chooses to stay out some more. 1:33.805 last time around.
So box, that means
right.
Box this
coming
lap.
in at
so
the end of this lap.
Yeah, they put we see the panel here, box this lap. So that means Rennie Rast is
coming. Was that the same for Mike Rockefeller? Forgive me.
Yeah, exactly. Was both teams show you the box panel, Team Rosberg and Team Phoenix. So mechanics will be getting ready in a few seconds. So both of the drivers coming in. And now we will see how is Rennie Rast coming out of the box compared to Marco Wittmann.
Eduardo Mortara now. So the Eduardo Mortara car is in. HWA go to work on that. 7.4 seconds. Not the fastest we've seen, but not the slowest either, in fairness. So Edo Mortara back out on track now. But of course on cold tyres. No tyre warmers allowed.
So I think just behind
he'll be
Paul
vulnerable
Resta.
to Timo Glock, won't he? Timo Glock then chasing him down now. So Timo Glock should theoretically be able to get past Eduardo Mortara with no problems whatsoever, because Edo Mortara on cold tyres straight out of his pit stop. We're on board with Timo Glock. This splitter cam is a fantastic shot that we can bring you. Here comes the potential overtakers. Timo Glock dives to the inside now and does indeed go through, and Eduardo Mortara trying to stick with him here, but he's going to be unable to do so. Timo Glock, as Rennie Rast now comes in. Also Mike Rockefeller. So the 33 car is received by the Rosberg garage, the Phoenix garage, standing by for Mike Rockefeller. Let's run the clock on Rennie Rast. This needs to be critical. 7.1.
Joining in P2, Blomqvist and Wickens on fresh tires, but they are much older and low on DRS. Eki Green out of point.
6.5 for Mike Rockefeller, though, marginally quicker. So Rast rejoins now. Mike Rockenfeller following him out of the pit lane as well.
So Rene just rejoins ahead of Tom Blomqvist and Robert Wittmann. So let's see how quick he can warm up those tires.
What he doesn't want to do is, of course, lose places to Tom Blomqvist or Robert Wittmann, both of whom have been in. Unfortunately, it didn't work quite so well for Mike Rockenfeller because he's got two BMWs ahead of him. Oh, a little bit of a lock-up because they're colder.
Rene Rast locking those tires.
Can you feel the difference with every meter on the tarmac that the tires are becoming, getting back into that window?
For sure, this is really easy to see. You start to see the brake is better, you turn better, the car is...
If Rast can stay ahead of Blomqvist and Robert Wittmann, it will be a brilliant job they've done.
Car is answering also much better to the acceleration, so let's see if he can hold Tom Blomqvist for the next few corners, and then maybe those tires will be in and he can slip away from the BMW, who will be now on
and Robert Wittmann, though. See, this is great news for Rene Rast. As these two start fighting, it means that Rene Rast is able to escape because Blomqvist under threat now from Robert Wittmann. And if Rene Rast can pull himself out of the DRS window...
So let's see now the gap between the drivers. So Rene Rast just 1.2 seconds ahead of... He's out of the DRS zone for Tom Blomqvist. So brilliant news for Rene Rast.
That was brilliant strategy from the team, and actually brilliant driving as he nursed the car on those cold tyres out of the pit lane. It's really worked for Rene Rast. It's worked less well for Mike Rockenfeller, who of course now has got Augusto Farfus and Maxime Martin ahead of him.
We need also to see what's happening with Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström. They are together with Bruno Spengler, the only driver.
Oh, there's contact between Robert Wittmann and Tom Blomqvist.
So we have yellow flag.
And there are bits falling off the either the Robert Wittmann car or the Tom Blomqvist car. Let's look at the, see if we can assess the damage there.
See Farfus going in.
Here it is again. So Robert went for the inside line.
Oh.
Whether Blomqvist braked just a little bit earlier or whether Robert was just misguided in
I think he was too late switching back this line and took part of the rear bumper of Tom Blomqvist away. So let's see now what's happening. So we have the accident under investigation. So
critically, in comes Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström now. Forgive me interrupting you.
So we have some debris on the racetrack. Let's see how race direction is answering to this. I hope they don't bring a safety car in now.
Jamie Green, 7 seconds. Mattias Ekström, it was a poorer stop, 7.5 seconds. Drive-through penalty for Robert Wittmann for pushing another car. That really helped Rene Rast, didn't it? As though they were fighting together, it allowed him to get up the road.
As we see Mattias Ekström coming, I think, just behind Timo Glock, so he's P17. Not good news for Mattias.
The only one who's yet to stop, of course, is Bruno Spengler, the BMW driver. Let's go on board with Jamie Green now, then. And there is Maxime Martin, Augusto Farfus on the Mercedes there, and here comes Gary Paffett on the inside of Lucas Auer. Well, the debris is just off the track, isn't it?
So there will be no... there will be definitely no yellow flag.
After fully, saying that, no.
Not fully. Still some debris there.
Edo Mortara then on Jamie Green. Of course, Jamie Green, having just returned out on track with cold tyres, is vulnerable at this stage until those tyres are back up to their, or rather brought up to their operating temperature, I should say. Let's go on board with Timo Glock now, who's targeting the Audi driver, Jamie Green, into the stadium section of the circuit here at Hockenheim, with just under 14 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. Jamie Green up high on the banking there of that turn, which, to be fair, is a fairly easy routine overtake for Timo Glock to come through on the inside. So Robert Wittmann then being awarded with a drive-through penalty for that contact on Tom Blomqvist. Just misjudged going to the inside, and there is Rob Wittmann then taking his drive-through penalty. I think it's going to be a retirement, though, for Robert Wittmann. or is it? The team are looking at the car. He's not placed it so that it could go into the garage, but unfortunately we do see Tom Blomqvist out of the race. And what was such a stellar job in qualifying has really rather been compromised now. You can see that panel work initially locked up the rear wheel as it got jammed in the wheel arch there following the contact with Robert Wickens.
Yeah, and there we see Tom Blomqvist losing parts of this car all around the outside the racetrack. So we have also a piece of debris just around position number 12 on the grid.
Can you give me the update lap times between Rast and Wittmann? 3/10 between them?
It's the moment is René Rast. Yeah, it's a difference of 2-3 tenths, but the gap is around 6 seconds. 7 seconds between both drivers, so
okay.
Looks pretty much more than safe for Marco Wittmann at the moment. Bruno Spengler is still having to go into the pit lane, so as soon as he hit the lane, he will René Rast will improve one position, which in any case is far better than where Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström are P15, P16 out of the points by far. So this is really looking good for René Rast at the moment.
So there is Mike Rockenfeller, who's currently running P5. Do bear in mind, though, that Bruno Spengler has got to come in for his pit stop, so that would make Mike Rockenfeller P4. And he's tracking the Maxime Martin car now. Again, every single car that Mike Rockenfeller can pass is advantageous to him in terms of his points haul. So Mike Rockenfeller does get past Maxime Martin, theoretically going into the hairpin now. Maxime Martin will try and come back, but is unable to do so. We did see extraordinary pace from Mike Rockenfeller yesterday, and that pace being replicated a little bit today now. So Mike Rockenfeller moves up a further place. So it'll actually be a podium place for Mike Rockenfeller now, potentially. That in replay. The cars, is it the way they set up the Audi cars? Because they really bounce along that tarmac, Alex.
Yeah, the cars looks to work perfectly, and to be, I was looking before at the onboard of René Rast and Mike Rockenfeller. There's not a single steering input where it's just no single correction, nothing. The car is stable and going where the drivers want, and it looks really, really good. And we see now René Rast getting closer and closer to Bruno Spengler, who still needs to go into the box.
But of course, Bruno Spengler at this moment, if you look at it from a BMW point of view, if they leave Spengler out as long as possible, that will frustrate René Rast, and of course it will also protect Marco Wittmann at the head of the field, won't it?
Yeah, for sure.
They're interested in, of course, the race win, as Paul de Resta is being chased down now by Jamie Green. This will just bring Jamie Green into the points if he were able to get past Paul de Resta, allowing for the fact that Bruno Spengler has still got to stop. Here comes Jamie Green now, really on the back of the Mercedes driver Paul de Resta, and then he has Nico Müller and Edo Mortara ahead of him. Here comes Jamie Green on the inside of Paul de Resta now as they head up towards the hairpin. And Nico Müller and Eduardo Mortara as well, so Jamie Green will not have too many problems getting past Nico Müller, I would suggest. More debris on the side of the track there than perhaps I realised. On board with Timo Glock now, who of course has got Mattias Ekström ahead of him now, because Ekström has gone through on Timo Glock. So Ekström also moves up another place. Just under 10 minutes of the race remaining, plus one lap, and again Bruno Spengler staying out there, and this is really going to frustrate René Rast now, because René Rast is right on him.
So just making a little bit the points at the moment when we see René Rast chasing down Bruno Spengler, as you were saying.
And with DRS assist, then he looks to the inside of Bruno Spengler.
No, this could run really bad for René Rast. This is what René Rast doesn't need to happen. He needs to avoid this to happen right now.
He has got to be careful here, because in the position he's in at the moment, he's in a commanding position. He needs not to have a crash, truthfully. It's just not worth it, because Bruno Spengler has still got to come in, but René Rast does get it done. He rotates the car through the hairpin, and now, effectively, René Rast is P2. which also means that effectively Mike Rockefeller is P3, because of course Bruno Spengler still to stop. Ooh, and this was René Rast then.
So looking at the championship, when we see the replay,
no question about it. In my mind, Bruno Spengler was kept out there to protect the P1 position of Marco Wittmann. And I bet you now Bruno Spengler will come in, because it's academic, isn't it?
And we see Audi cheering for the movement of René Rast.
That could have gone oh so wrong. It really could.
René Rast will be at the moment champion with 179 points. Just in front of Mattias Ekström with 172, and Mike Rockefeller will be P3 with 165.
Okay, so there is René Rast then, around turn number 1. What have we got? 7 minutes remaining, plus 1 lap. The tension.
It's not enough for René Rast to chase Marco Wittmann. When we see now Jamie Green on P10.
He's in the points.
He's in the points at the moment. So we'll have 164. Let's start adding points to the pocket. Mattias Ekström P11, so he can also maybe make it into the points. But he will need at least to score 5 points to be matching.
Well, here comes Jamie Green on Lucas Auer. So to the inside of the Mercedes-Benz of Lucas Auer. And next up, it's like a photocopy, because of course he's got the Eduardo Mortara car ahead of him now. So Jamie Green gets past Lucas Auer. So Edo Mortara is next in his target sights then. So you're doing the computations. Where does Jamie Green need to finish?
He's now 1 point behind Mike Rockefeller. So if he improves 1 position, he will be matching in points Mike Rockefeller for third position on the championship.
Okay.
If we talk about the win, he's missing at the moment 15 points.
Yeah, it's Here comes Mike Rockefeller on Bruno Spengler now then. Bruno Spengler, they really are leaving him out for a long time. And again, actually, the protection to Marco Wittmann now has gone away, hasn't it? I mean, you know, kind of academic, isn't it? Mike Rockefeller then, stuck behind the car of Bruno Spengler.
Just looking at the time, I think René Rast is a tiny bit faster than Marco Wittmann, and nothing that Marco Wittmann should worry about. He's 6.1 seconds in front of René Rast, when we see now Mike Rockefeller going in front of Bruno Spengler, who will need to pit at some point. So, as I said, I think the difference in the lap times between Wittmann and Rast is not so dramatic that Wittmann to be worried about. When we see Mattias Ekström getting past Lucas Auer, so he's now P11, P10.
So Mattias Ekström has got a point now,
and Jamie Green is P9.
So there is Mattias Ekström then ahead of Lucas Auer. We have just under 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. There's Jamie Green, who is ahead of the number 48 Eduardo Mortara car. Now next in the target sights of Mattias Ekström is that car of Edo Mortara. It was always going to go Audi's way for the Drivers' Championship. It was just before the start of the race. We did not know who. So Hans-Jürgen App then on the pit wall that we could see. Watching Mattias Ekström then in the final stages of this DTM race, which brings to a conclusion at last. Bruno Spengler comes into the pit lane. I think the car is virtually running on its rims now rather than any rubber left.
There we see these tires, even they have a big peak at the beginning, they are lasting quite long. We've seen drivers doing the same strategy all around the years, or driver going after the first lap into the box and doing the rest of the race with one set of tires.
Well, the Racing Bird Magpie team then go to work on the Bruno Spengler car and get him back out again. Here is René Rast then running in P2. Marco Wittmann is within his sights ahead of him, but his 5.3 seconds margin with just 3.5 minutes left plus 1 lap. It's unless there are some problems for Marco Wittmann, I would think it's very unlikely that René Rast is going to be able to get on terms with him here. So Marco Wittmann then leading the race from René Rast and Mike Rockenfeller, P2, P3. And then is Maxime Martin, Gary Paffett, Augusto Farfus, Jamie Green, Edo Mortara, and Mattias Ekström. So on board with René Rast now as he takes that banking around the third from last corner. And René Rast diving into the last 2 turns now to bring him across the timing line once again. Really, all René Rast needs to do now, Alex, is to bring the car home. And it was a real heart-in-mouth moment when there was that little contact between himself and Bruno Spengler earlier.
Yeah, for sure, he needs to keep it safe. I mean, he's a little bit now in nowhere position, so he's 4.4 seconds behind Marco Wittmann and 4 seconds ahead of Mike Rockenfeller. So with 2.5 minutes to go, this is 2 to 3 laps to go. So it needs to bring it home, but like I said, a small mistake can cost you the race or some lap car. When we see now the championship prediction,
it's going René Rast's way, assuming everything stays as it is. 179 points to Mattias Ekström, P2. Jamie Green will be P3, 2 points ahead of Mike Rockenfeller. So all René Rast needs to do is to bring the car home safely. And in his rookie year of DTM, he can become champion. It's just under 2 minutes plus 1 lap for René Rast to do so. Gary Paffett is running in P5 in the Mercedes-Benz.
Just watching one thing, so we have Gary Paffett, Maxime Martin fighting for position. A little bit behind is Augusto Farfus, and right behind is Jamie Green. So, and Mattias Ekström is at the moment P9. If Mattias Ekström finishes P6, he improves 3 positions. He will be matching the points of René Rast. So, if there is any kind of incident or trouble between the drivers in front of him, Mattias Ekström can get advantage out of this. So it's nothing finished yet.
It isn't. We've still got
1.5 minutes to go. It's really less time, but
we know that it can happen.
Until the checkered flag is dropped down. We see now this the fight between Gary Paffett and Maxime Martin. So if there is some small incident, Mattias Ekström there we see coming in the back of Eduardo Mortara. Any small incident can run really bad towards René Rast, who at the moment is P2. He can't do much more. He's done a brilliant job. Let's see what these drivers are able to do.
Jamie Green, Augusto Farfus now. Of course, Green just needs to bank all the points that he possibly can. And this will be an advantage for Jamie Green if he can get past Augusto Farfus. Around the Parabolica they go then. Jamie Green to the outside of Augusto Farfus, the BMW driver, and he gets the job done before they even reach the hairpin. Heavy braking now and tries to rotate the car.
Ekström goes into the inside of Mortara as well. He does the move. Let's see the switchback of Mortara. It's accelerating a little bit better, so I guess Mattias Ekström will hold him on the outside. No. So brilliant move by Mattias, who is now P8. So if he improves 2 position, he will be.
The clock is on 0. We have
1 lap.
1 lap. So there is Mattias Ekström and, well, Augusto Farfus there. You can see this is the last lap. This is the last lap of DTM for 2017. Our camera quite rightly focuses on René Rast, who is P2, and by being P2 will have done enough to seal the DTM Championship for 2017. The Rosberg team will be elated, will be delighted. None more so, though, than their driver, René Rast, in his first full season in the DTM. There is the championship prediction by just 3 points over Mattias Ekström. If it stays this way for the remainder of this lap, he avoids the debris that's on the track. The last thing he needs now is a puncture. There is Mike Rockenfeller. Rast just needs to bring the car home and bring it home safely. He has but a handful of turns to do it. He's in the stadium section of the track now. There is Marco Wittmann leading the race. And Marco Wittmann has got 3 turns before he'll find the checkered flag unfurled. Into the banking now is Marco Wittmann. Just 2 turns for the BMW driver, as he will head towards the checkered flag to take the race win. And the fireworks erupt as Marco Wittmann wins, but winning the DTM Championship for 2017.
Great dive.
René Rast,
Well done, mate.
in his rookie year.
René, wir sind Meister. We are the champion. Unglaublich, sensationell. René, danke. Sensationell.
You did it!
The delight. René Rast becomes a champion. Oh, and you can sense that Hans-Jürgen Abt, of course, his drivers have not done it. René Rast has done it. And René Rast is unbelievably happy, but rightly so. And he's done it in his rookie year of DTM. I've seen him win a number of championships. And, well, René Rast into DTM for 2017 in his first season. Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich going around the... Arno Zenzen, of course, is the team boss, and he must be crying with emotion.
He actually is. Just saw him, and Mr. Zenzen, congratulations. I mean, it was an unbelievable race. René Rast, the rookie, did an amazing season, as did all of you guys. How do you feel?
I cannot describe it. It's unbelievable. It was so tough in the end. Also, Eki was coming and Rocky was coming, and it was, no, unbelievable. But I think I have my boss on the phone now.
Well, congratulations.
No, danke.
Yeah, very happy boss, so back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. Realised that Arno Zenzen had a boss, of course. Dieter might be on the phone rather than walking down to congratulate him. But René Rast for Team Rosberg has done it. And he is the DTM champion for 2017. Eki was coming, Rocky was coming, Green was coming. And you made the point with less than 2 minutes to go, this could all go a different way, but it didn't. Marco Wittmann, we should not lose sight of the fact, won the race. But René Rast P2, Mike Rockenfeller P3, and Gary Paffett, good drive from him to take a P4, the best of the Mercedes-Benz drivers, but it is all about René Rast. He has done it. He has taken the 2017 DTM Championship in his rookie year. So Dieter Gas down across all the teams now to shake their hands. Stefan Moser alongside Dieter Gas there. And René Rast then is the champion. So make sure he gets pick up, and there, how close could it be? 3 points.
3 points between Jamie Green and Mattias Ekström, and 3 points between Mattias Ekström and René Rast. What a championship. And finally, Marco Wittmann also finishing P5 ahead of Lucas Auer, improving 1 position, so unbelievable.
Well, we always wanted it to come to the final round and the final race, and it certainly did. And boy, it was close. René Rast then being congratulated by all the drivers, and of course by the hundreds of thousands of, or tens of thousands of spectators that are here in the Motordrome area of the Hockenheim ring, and the cars being brought back into the Parc Fermé. It's a big spectacle, it's a big show, the DTM finale, as the fireworks erupted as the cars crossed the start-finish line. Loïc Duval, interestingly, alongside René Rast there. Loïc Duval came into this season as the other rookie to René Rast, and of the 2 rookies, it's René that's got the best out of it, isn't it? So as the fireworks erupted, there you can see in front of all the spectators here, what a phenomenal achievement for René Rast. And all the cars doing donuts then in celebration of what has been a remarkable DTM season. So Nico Müller there in the all-red car. and long may that be allowed to continue. We want to see things like that, donuts going on, and the showbiz for the race fans that are here. But here is our champion making his way into Parc Fermé now. Revs the car. It's done its work for the season. He's done his work for the season. It may be P2 in the race. That matters not a jot, because P1 in the championship belongs to this man. René Rast has done it. Marco Wittmann then pulls in. He's the race winner. But René Rast is the champion and immediately gets weighed. Wolfgang Ulrich in the center of your picture there is still clapping. Goes to applaud and celebrate with the team. He cannot believe it. He was cool as a cucumber at the start of the race, and you know, actually you can sometimes mistake René Rast's coolness and calmness for, you know, actually he's not dismissing anything, but he's just quiet, he's focused, and he, you know,
he's done his job. At the end of the day, winning a championship is not about winning a race, it's not about winning two, it's about being consistent, being always on the podium, don't make any mistake. And he's done it. He did a superb season, he's done a super race today, beside the star, who was a little bit poor, but in the books, no one will ride the poor star. He will ride the rookie champion who won DTM, and that's what matters.
You know, let's be honest, he's had 3 wins this year, which in itself, for a rookie year, for a DTM driver, is extraordinary, isn't it?
I think it's an unbelievable result. So, Audi's, so it's Jens Marquardt with us, with Verena. So, what has the BMW had to say?
So Jens Marquardt, congratulations to a final victory here in the big final, and DTM Champ 2016 ending the season on a high. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's definitely great. I mean, to have 2 poles here in the last 2 races, be on the podium yesterday with Timo and win it today with Marco, definitely puts a very good end to our season. Even if we didn't win a title, we fought until the very last moment and did this really well. And it showed BMW was also strong this year. I'm really proud of all the guys. Congrats to René and Audi. They did a great job this year, and to win it as a rookie, I think, is very special. Well-deserved break now for all the guys. A lot of work in the background for next year, but I think for everybody who came out here today and hopefully watched on TV, they've seen what classic and fantastic series DTM is, and I hope they will enjoy also next year with us.
All right, thank you so much, Jens Marquardt, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Verena. Jens Marquardt then, very, very humble of him to offer his congratulations to René Rast. And as he says, you know, we're going to take some time off now, but we are going to be coming back, and we will be coming back. And we can't wait for the 2018 season of DTM. Mattias Ekström then, of course, 2nd place.
The trophy just getting engraved behind the podium.
And this is, can I say this and be a bit self-indulgent, if I may? The reason that there are over 150,000 people here over the course of a race weekend is actually because of those details and the fact that the race action on track is darn good.
Yes, exactly what Jens Marquardt was saying. If you would have been here, if you've been watching, if you will join us live, it's unbelievable race to watch. Unbelievable action, not only now, it's been throughout all the season with all these new changes, and it can be any better. I don't know any other series that can be closer to the fans and can bring more action than this DTM 2017 season.
And they even unfurl the banner which says Danke fans, thank you. Marco Wittmann wins the race. René Rast, of course, wins the championship but takes P2 a step on the podium. And there's Mike Rockenfeller then, who is P3 on the race podium. Stefan Reinhold then. National anthem time. let's not forget that Marco Wittmann, two-time DTM champion, has been a wonderful champion. And he ends the season on the top step of the podium. His Royal Highness Prince Leopold of Bavaria then making the trophy presentation for the race win to Marco Wittmann. And Mr. Richie Muller, the actor who we've seen out in the Porsche Carrera Cup at various points during the season, makes the team presentation trophy. And Mr. Emanuele Pirro, who was out on track just a few
minutes ago
and
hours ago, yeah.
He makes the race presentation to René Rast. It's P2 for René Rast. It's not the biggest trophy he's going to get. And Mr. Dieter Gummer there, the Lord Mayor of Hockenheim, makes the trophy presentation for the race to Mike Rockenfeller. Yeah, Emanuele Pirro, I think he finished P4, didn't he, in that race? He started right at the back,
It was
it didn't matter.
one of the most, the funniest race I've ever seen in my whole life. So, picture for the top 3 of this final DTM race, and now goes to the champagne moment. And the fact we've seen that this championship is getting closer and closer to the fans. This year champion trophy is being designed by the fans.
Absolutely
it's been a contest throughout the fans. We all know the classic DTM trophy, the glass trophy with the walls. It's gone. It's now a trophy that's been designed by the fans.
Let me tell you, for our viewers, that you will see the shots in a moment of the entire start-finish straight is full. There it is, look! There are thousands of fans here. In the Drivers' Championship, then, René Rast finishes on 179 points. Mattias Ekström on 176. It is such an emotional high that you come to the end of the season. Trust me, it has been awesome. But I have to say, from an entertainment and showcase spectacle, I think an awful lot of what has been done in DTM this year has been brilliant and right. And the product of that we're seeing played out in front of thousands and thousands of race fans here live at Hockenheim. So we see the images once again of René Rast jumping out of that car. He was, well, thrilled is an inadequate word to use. But he has done it in a rookie year. It's unheard of. Absolutely unheard of. You get into these DTM cars and just look at the driving talent that we have. It takes you seasons sometimes to get the handle on these DTM cars. And René Rast has come into it in his first full year as his rookie year, and he's won the blooming championship.
It's been a great championship by René Rast, as I said before, consistent, keeping always good position, no making big mistakes. And at the end, this is what counts. This is what is bringing you to stay at the spot he's today, winning the GTM championship. It's his first year. He's an unbelievable driver, with always delivering an unbelievable performance. He won the Porsche Carrera Cup also many years before. So we will have a quick one from our race winner, Marco Wittmann, which is down there.
Yep, he's certainly here with me. Congratulations, Marco. Fantastic race for you, the DTM champ 2016, ending the season on a high with a victory. You must be pretty proud.
I'm super happy, I have to say. I mean, that was the aim, and every driver wishes really to finish the season with a win. And yeah, I have to thank my whole team. We made a lot of changes overnight. They were quite long until the night, and it worked perfectly. My car was super today. In the race, a really good pace, and winning the race, the end of the season, is just great. Really happy to go like that in the winter break.
I bet it is. Now, one question, DTM champ 2016, now we've got a new champ. Was it well-deserved for René?
I think so, yes. I mean, at the end, if you look at his season, he was always strong, especially in the qualifying, which is the main topic in DTM. If you start in front, you're probably always getting good points home, and that's what he did. I wouldn't call him really a rookie, to be honest. I mean, he has such massively experience in all touring car series, so it's a special rookie, I would say. But still, he did a good job in his first full year in DTM, and for me, fully deserved. Yes, congratulations to him.
Thank you very much, Marco, and back to you.
Thanks very much, Verena. So we can already see there is Jamie Green, the British driver then. Mattias Ekström then, well, missed out on it. Congratulated by Dieter Gas. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone, it is our new champion, René Rast. I first commentated on a race of René Rast's, Alex. I can't remember, he was driving a VW Polo or something, do you know what I mean? You know, I've seen him through every stage of his career. And for him to be on the top step of the podium in the DTM Championship, a fantastic achievement. René Rast is DTM champion 2017. So as the podium ceremony is about to get underway, Mr. Masaki Bando, then the GTA chairman, makes the trophy presentation to Dieter Gas, head of motorsport for Audi. Of course, that position once held by Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, but now it is the domain of Dieter Gas. Tom Christensen makes the trophy presentation then to a incredibly proud team boss. Onno Zenzen then means a lot to the team, doesn't it, Alex?
Yeah, for sure. It's unbelievable to win here and to win the team championship and also with your driver. And with Audi also winning the manufacturer championship, it can't get any better.
Moritz Bleibtreu then, the actor, makes the trophy presentation to Jamie Green, P3. How close was it? Mattias Ekström then, of course, combines his DTM duties with his rally crossing as well. And there are some big moments, but this is a big moment. Alex Zanardi is here, the four-time Paralympic gold medal winner, to make the trophy presentation to Mattias Ekström. Fantastic. So close, yet so far for Mattias Ekström. Photographs being taken, iPhones all over the place. The tarmac absolutely full in front of the podium. DTM champion for 2017 is Klaus Ludwig, three-time DTM champion, who is making the trophy presentation to René Rast. So Klaus Ludwig making the trophy presentation to our new champion, René Rast. And the podium is always colourful and full of spectacle at the DTM finale. And it's bigger, better and bolder this year than ever before. René is just enjoying the moment, Alex.
I mean, it must be unbelievable to be stepping up there also with so many people looking at you. all the feelings he must be having into going through his body. Unbelievable moment.
Well, everyone will get together for the photographs. I have to say, and quite rightly, as you mentioned on air, of course, the trophy is designed and created from ideas submitted by race fans. They've done a blooming good job.
I think it's a really beautiful trophy.
It's contemporary.
It's new, it's modern, with all the racetrack. You cannot see from here, but all the racetrack are represented inside the trophy in metal way, like in a spiral metal way. So really nice trophy. When now it gets to a really well-deserved champagne shower. So,
well, brilliant. Well, Dieter Gas then without his glasses, not sure he's seeing where he's pointing, to be honest. And I'll tell him that later as well.
I think he took them off.
Fantastic celebrations. P1, 2 and 3 in the Drivers' Championship for 2017.
And this man,
René Rast,
in capital letters.
Dieter is thoroughly soaked, isn't he? Arno gets some more. And, well, the drivers take a deserved slug of the champagne. Brilliant, brilliant show. And brilliant presentations up there on the podium as well. And, well, now it'll be a busy time for them because the demands of the media, of course, and the demands of the tens of thousands of race fans have been met with a fantastic season of DTM racing. And as the banner that unfurled in front of the podium said, Danke fans, stay tuned. All the information to come, of course, about the DTM season for 2018. Jamie Green then has had a very, very good season indeed, and please, Verena, offer him our congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Jamie. I mean, you were really a fighter. You were fighting so hard. And then today, unfortunately, what happened in the race, but all the way from the back, you came back to the front, but it just wasn't enough. How does it feel at the moment?
Well, I did everything I could, so I'm not disappointed with myself. I would obviously, mathematically, I had a chance to win, and I was obviously hoping it could happen. But yeah, I mean, today, 15th on the grid after my 10th-place penalty. Coming back to 5th is still a good race, one I can be happy with. So yeah, I ended up at the back after the first lap, so it was quite an achievement to get back to 5th place.
And I guess being a part of the Audi family, you're still mighty proud today.
Well, not just Audi. I mean, yes, I'm really proud of everything Audi have achieved since I've been on board with them the last 5 years. We've had a lot of success, me personally and the team, in terms of winning championships. But also Team Rosberg. I've been with them now, this is the 4th year. I've won 8 races with them. We won the team championship together this year, myself and René with Rosberg, and René's now won the Drivers' Championship for Team Rosberg. So I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Audi Sport and Team Rosberg.
Thank you so much, Jamie Green. Back to you.
Thanks, Verena. So Jamie Green then full of congratulations as we see René Rast then, and the dangling data logger then hanging down from the... That was got rid of pretty quickly, Alex.
Yeah, you cannot believe as a racing driver when you have something like this, and I had it in my lap, how much it starts to annoy you. You know, on the corner it's hitting you on the left, on the right, and you're trying to put it up there, and then at some point it's oh, come on, I don't need this anymore.
No.
Just put it. Depends how important it is for the car, but it doesn't look like it was anything really important. But it's pretty annoying when you have something like this dancing around your car.
I mean, this was in the early stage of the race, wasn't it? And as you say, it's supremely off-putting, and he was trying at the same time to get past Lucas Auer, and did manage to do that. And there you can see the team boss looking on in the end. all over. So Mattias Ekström, he came jolly close to taking it, but it's P2 in the Drivers' Championship. He's with Verena.
And it was so mighty close. Eki, you really fought so hard, coming from 14 to 8, but then it should have, or it had to be a P6 in order for you to win the championship. It was only 1.9 seconds missing. You fought so hard, but how does it feel right now?
No, for sure. We have been trying everything we could, but the grid penalty for today's race came a little bit in the wrong timing, so we knew it would be difficult, but you know, in the end, you can't say more than congratulations to René and Team Rosberg. They did a very good job, and you know, since we had the new point scoring system for quali since a while, then I don't collect enough points there, and René have been really the qualifying master, plus that he have made a lot of good races, so they're well deserved, but you know, you always try at the bitter end, and we came close, but it was just not enough.
There were a lot of rumors about you this weekend. Now that you're second in the championship, does that mean we're going to keep you next year?
I don't know. We will see.
Thank you so much, Eki. Back to you.
Well, despite valiant efforts, Verena, you couldn't get the answer out of him that we were looking for. So we've heard from Jamie Green, P3. We've heard from Mattias Ekström, of course, P2. This is the man, though, that did do it. And Mattias Ekström made a very, very fair point there in that he has been something of a qualifying master, René Rast. And with the 3, 2, 1 points available in qualifying, 3 points going to the pole, and then 2 and 1 points. Those are valuable, valuable points, and René Rast really has made the best of that and taken as much as he could out of qualifying. The qualifying master, he is the 2017 champion. He's with Verena now. René Rast.
Congratulations, DTM Champ 2017. I asked you earlier if you're going to make it or not, and you actually said, well, you know, no one's expecting a rookie to win the championship. You made it. You did it. How does it feel?
I cannot really describe it in any words. I mean, till the checkered flag, I didn't know if I was champion or not. And when I crossed the checkered flag, my team said, yeah, you finished second. And I was like, okay, did I win or did I not win? And then suddenly after turn 1, they started screaming. So I knew I won the championship. Till that point, I didn't know. And it was very emotional, I can tell you. I worked very hard for that title, a long time. And I just want to say a big thanks to Audi Sport and Team Rosberg and everyone who supported me to the goal which I achieved today.
You really, really did a phenomenal job, and on the podium I saw you the whole time you were shaking your head. Does it mean has it sunk in yet? Do you want me to pinch you? Or do you know you're champion 2017?
I still cannot believe it, to be honest. I mean, it still feels like before the race. So I think I still need a few hours or days till the moment kicks in and I realize that I'm DTM champion 2017.
Do you think it's also thanks to you always keeping your calm, perhaps, that you made it this far?
Yeah, especially today. I mean, it was very important to be up front and qualify, and I nailed one lap, which was the key to today's success. You know, with a bad qualifier, you have no chance actually to score big points, as you saw in Mattias and Jamie today. So. Yeah, in these moments you need to stay cool and just to maximize what you have, and I think we did that today.
You certainly did, and this being your rookie year, your full rookie year in the DTM, and with so many changes in the DTM, it being packed and the sun shining, I mean, isn't that even more amazing that it was a perfect weekend and for you the perfect season?
It was a perfect day. I mean, like you said, October, 25 degrees, so many people, full of grandstands. I mean, it was just like a day you can dream actually about. I mean, everything was just perfect today, except the first laps. But I mean, yeah, it's hard to say.
You know what? Now you deserve to really celebrate hard. So you do that. Congratulations again. Let it sink in. And that was it from the Hockenheim Ring, the big finale 2017. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Hope to see you next year. But for now, enjoy the highlights. Bye-bye.